So should we start with Peacemaker, or should we talk about Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo taking the NFL by storm?
I think it's got to be Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo.
I mean, that's a bigger story.
Maybe the biggest story going on in the world right now. I'm not going to lie, I didn't believe in them, bro. I wanted Shador. And now this man Dart is just, he's balling.
I thought we were going to get a last-minute Nobel Peace Prize for Dart and Scadaboo, co-Nobel Peace Prize, just for the way they're uniting the world.
The exciting whites is what they're calling them right now. Honestly, it's insane, dude. I watched Scadaboo in college. I'm an Iowa State fan, as you know, so he dicked us down, man, in the Big 12 championship, and I was like, oh, he's not going to be able to do that in the NFL. This dude's going to be a bum. And then the Giants drafted him, so I instantly became the biggest Scadaboo fan in the world. Probably the most fun Giants team we've seen in since Odell Saquon time. I know we went to the playoffs with what was that, with Danny in 2021 or 2022. This team's just more fun, even if we win less games and don't make the playoffs.
Well, that team also felt like as good as they were going to get, whereas this team is young and the defense is promising. It's not where we want it to be, but defense usually gets better as the season goes on. So,
yeah, and I mean, we got the best pass rush in the league. I'll say it now. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. That's a scary four right there.
Yeah, and if you weren't here, I also could have named all four of those guys because I'm a Giants fan.
Dude's wondering who Brian Burns is.
I bleed blue. Shout out to Phil Sims. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. My name is Reuben, joined here today with Cam, and we are back to talk about Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 8, the season finale, and we will also talk about our thoughts on the season as a whole. But before we get into that, I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts across all podcasting platforms. Go ahead and check out our Patreon page if you want more nerd soup. We recently did the first half of Peacemaker Season 2. That was me and Cam. That was a good one. And Better Call Saul. We're gearing up to review Season 2. Teddy's about to finish it. He was just working the Ryder's Cup, so I didn't even know he knew how to play golf. I didn't know he knew what golf was, so... That's
damn! Teddy was at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, he was. He was there the entire week.
Oh shit! I went to the first day. I should have given him a little shout out.
Man, you really be out there with the sports.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's fun. I like going to sports games. You know, Yankees. I went to Yankees Red Sox Game 3. Electric. Ryder Cup. Probably will catch a couple Knicks games once we get Giannis. So.
Waiting for the Giannis trade to go through. Well, you might want to buy the tickets, get them cheap, and then sell them for a profit.
Yeah. Honestly, like that. You see that guy who's suing LeBron?
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah.
For the decision part 2. Bro thought he got tickets to LeBron's last game. Turns out he was just promoting some Henny.
Instantly knew that's what LeBron was going to do. He's going to milk this shit for as much. It's going to be every year. There's going to be
he's playing with Bryce for sure. He's got to play with Bryce and Bronny in one game, and then he's good.
Yeah, stick around long enough. Maybe. Well, no, that wouldn't work. Well, maybe she'll be the first. Yeah, I mean, being a descendant of having those genes.
I mean, yeah, she could probably dunk already.
She definitely has a higher vert than I ever had. I was not very bouncy. All right, well, speaking of bouncy, let's talk about Peacemaker. Does that make sense? Somebody work that in the comment section. Somebody's going to figure that out for us.
Was he bounced in this episode?
He did bounce at the end. He got bounced.
Hey, they were bouncing between dimensions.
Right. Yeah, there you go. We didn't even need the audience. But still, like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, Peacemaker Season 2. I was really looking forward to these last 3 episodes, and that's because James Gunn said that episode 6 and 8 were not only packed with surprises, which a lot of people took to mean as cameos, which I don't need cameos to like a show, but he also said it was his favorite thing he's ever written in his life. So he's written a lot of good things. He's made a lot of good projects. I was anticipating this, especially coming off of episode 7 being maybe the best episode of the first 2 seasons altogether. And this one really fell flat. It was a dud. And it really does feel like, in retrospect, episode 7, I don't know if it should have been the finale, but it very much feels like the finale. Whereas episode 8 is like an epilogue where it has a couple of music montages, one really emotional scene in the middle, which I did love. Thought that was the highlight of the episode. And then a cliffhanger that just comes out of nowhere after setting up the future of what this team is going to be, taking an espionage team from the comics, checkmate, and maybe that will be the next show or a movie. But then, spoilers, Peacemaker gets fucking pieced to a different dimension, the One Piece dimension, or the Hunter x Hunter continent. Sounds like they got dinosaurs. Yeah, the Dark Continent. What the fuck is that all about? And I felt like we'll get more into it, obviously, but Flag being so evil and against metahumans after coming out of Creature Commandos and Superman kind of on the fence feels like a dramatic shift in his character. And it's like they wanted us to remember, oh, this season has a villain. That's him. He's going to do something bad to Peacemaker in the end. I don't know. It's hard to review this as an episode because it doesn't even feel like an episode. It just kind of feels like they stitched together some footage and said, here, come back next time, please.
Yeah, it was really tough. I was somebody who loved this season of Peacemaker. I mean, every week I was super excited for Thursday nights, and seeing John Cena on the big screen, he did great this season. I'll give him his flowers. Everybody did pretty good this season. It just felt weird. Like, James Gunn gassed up episodes 6 and 8 specifically, and episode 7, in my opinion, was the craziest and best episode of the season. It just feels so weird, dude. I just watched the episode. I don't know what I was expecting from it, but I was expecting more, considering they said this is going to set up, what's the next Superman movie called? Man of Tomorrow? I see that, like, Flag has Luthor's group, and I assume that Man of Tomorrow will now have stuff to do with this other dimension, this prison dimension. I forget what they're calling it, but I don't know. It just felt like, for such a great season, it fell a little flat at the end. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting more than that last episode. Like you were saying, they might do a checkmate show, and I hate to compare it to this, but it reminds me of like Mando and Boba Fett, where you have a crazy ending to Mando season 2, and then the Boba Fett show, or in this situation, maybe like checkmate, kind of solves the issues that happen in the end of the season. So we'll have to see where they go from here. But James Gunn kind of disappointed me a little bit at the end there.
Yeah, I think this might be the first evidence that maybe he's stretching himself too thin with all the projects and also overseeing the entire cinematic shared universe, because the hype going into this, usually if you've seen the product, you can kind of tell, okay, maybe this isn't my best work. But he came out saying episode 8 was the best ever. And I think that is a good comparison. That's actually something I absolutely despised about the Star Wars shows, is we got the reunion between Mando and Grogu in the Boba Fett show, which was terrible. And the reunion completely takes away from any hype going into season 3, because they solved the big season 2 cliffhanger in another show. I don't necessarily mind it as much here, because I want to see where they go with it. I think he's going to bring back Waller in a way that's going to be really fun, where she's going to try and get back into the game, get control of Argus, maybe reel in Flag or help Flag. We'll see where she stands with the metahumans and how it's going to relate to this checkmate group, which is really fun too, because even somebody like a character like Adebayo, I almost want to see her eventually come into that Waller role, but maybe a softer approach where Waller's able to manipulate people. Adebayo's kind of like Naruto. She's just everybody's buddy.
She's got the talk no jutsu.
Exactly, where she's so good at knowing these people, similar to her mom, where she's able to manipulate because she knows all their weaknesses. But maybe Adebayo can be the inverse, where she knows the strengths, what buttons to push to get the best out of people. So we'll see where it all goes in that regard. But even the idea of what happens to Peacemaker here being treated like a throwaway in a Superman movie, where in the middle of Superman they end up in this dimension and then Peacemaker shows up.
You get a John Cena cameo.
Right, and then he's an integral part of the movie, which I don't hate either, but I don't like it for the idea of this show, being a fan of this show and almost wanting to see it continue. Because it feels like they set up a lot of things to be resolved, like the stuff with his brother not being killed. He's going to come back for revenge. We'll see where that goes. Maybe it spins off into a movie. Maybe Gunn just has no idea. He has said he hasn't written Peacemaker season 3 and he has no plans for it. But yeah, we're covering a lot of ground here. But to judge this episode, it is a disappointment because at the end of the day, it's a 8-episode season of a show. This is what we were promised. This is how you set it up. And if they're doing the whole penultimate is more important than the finale, you ain't Game of Thrones. You haven't established that over the course of 4 years. If I'm going into it expecting that, that's totally fine. And I'm not really that mad about it. I don't know why I sound so excited. Maybe frustrated is the better word.
No, I'm mad. I'm mad about it. Personally, I'm mad because like I'm mad because of how much I enjoyed the season, you know? And the quality of shows and movies we've seen from James Gunn, not only in the DCEU, but in the MCU. And the hype that he gave the episode coming in, maybe it's my fault for like getting too hyped up. But when a director holds himself to a certain standard and we've become accustomed to that standard, you know what I mean? It kind of just it's frustrating when it doesn't deliver in the last episode like how you thought it would. And that partially could be my fault because I got too overhyped for the finale. But all week I found myself sitting there like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen in this last episode? Crafting theories in my head. I thought Brainiac was showing up, stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It just feels like something was missing. I understand we needed to get the flashback of Harcourt and Peacemaker, like all their lore there. But I don't know. It feels like that could have happened in another episode. Right? Am I
oh
crazy
yeah, you could have
that?
kept that. This almost feels like he knows these characters will never be doing another season of Peacemaker. That they're going to be in other shows and other movies. But when it comes to what they need to develop coming out of season 1 and finishing it, putting a bow on that, like we need to just rush all of this, all these emotional scenes, all of this, you know, the realization that they're a family. Well, James Gunn loves doing that. Disparate characters come together to makeshift family. If it's rushed. When you said it feels like it's missing something, yeah, it's missing any sort of cohesiveness. Even the idea of Sol Rodriguez, her character, Cyborg, whatever the character's name is, becoming one of the good guys out of nowhere. I mean, just very fast, very quick decisions these characters are making without any real heads up for the audience. Like this is where they're headed.
Yeah, it was just odd, dude. I don't know.
It feels odd. It very much feels just odd. That's a good word to describe this episode.
Yeah.
Especially with the momentum they were building episode to episode. I was frustrated by the short run times, but they built pretty much perfectly into the next one.
Yeah, like if every episode was an hour long, I think we wouldn't be having these same problems because we would have got this lore or some of the stuff we got in the last episode in other episodes, you know? But I would have liked
sorry to cut you off, but you even said recently when we saw each other, there's so much they need to do. It felt so dramatic at the end of episode 7. He's going to jail. They have this device, the new dimensions, the new dimensions, and then all that's kind of just ran through. It's like a speed running episode.
Yeah, and they kind of like use that one dimension as a gag, like the Candyland type of dimension. And I wanted to see more of like every dimension, you know? I don't know. Obviously, like it's easier said than done. I'm not James Gunn. He probably obviously wrote it way 10 times, 100 times better than I would have. It's just yeah, odd is the only word, dude. I wanted to see more Vigilante this season. I wanted to see more of the crew, kind of like it seems that they took a very big backseat to the other dimension because we were getting stuff with Chris's brother and his dad. But then that all solved itself in episode 7. And then in episode 8, we never got more development for these characters. Like, what did Vigilante really do this episode? I get that he's a big part in freeing Peacemaker with getting the bail money. But like, I don't know. I would have liked more from these characters. And it sucks because it does leave a sour taste in my mouth with the whole season, but I really did enjoy the season as a whole. But I'm not trying to sound like I'm hating on the show, but like it's hard having just watched the episode like 20 minutes ago to not hate on it a little bit for me.
No, dude, I mean, to your point about Vigilante getting the bail money, them breaking him out, all coming together to do this, and then he shows up to his house and Economos opens the door and he's like, I'm just here for Eagly. And then he just departs.
Yeah,
and then he's
like-
just on the run. And then they find him. And it was funny when Vigilante shocked him. And then they have that great emotional moment. And I
that
thought
was one of the best
Adebayo,
moments.
just telling him what he needed to hear. That he has been manipulated. He's been a cog in this brutal, terrible machine. And he needs to escape that and just be himself. But it was just, it all happened so fast. And the montages, when people were like, this is like just a music video, just a glorified epilogue.
And it's weird because I usually like the montages that we get with the music from James Gunn, especially. Like, I feel like he usually hits on most of those. It's throughout this show, but also in like Guardians or Suicide Squad, stuff like that. But I don't know why it just didn't hit for me in this episode.
No, because they weren't earned. We're missing. There's other things that we wanted to see and play out, and instead it's being handled with a montage. I think it's a bit lazy. Where they if they really wanted to, what they should have done instead of doing the hour-long episodes is just 6 episodes. Longer episodes, and that episode 6 ends up being that episode 7, because that stuff was more important. And I think that the story he was trying to tell with his father and his brother, seeing this different side of a life that he never got to live, was very emotionally impactful. And then it has that incredible ending, and the performance by John Cena, the gasp of realizing you're reliving your trauma. You're going to watch your brother die, not only as a child, but now as an adult once again. And, the way that they leave that universe, an absolute bloody fucking mess, it just takes away all the good feelings that you had about his experience over there. And then the reveal of it being a Nazi universe. It's just so, it's such a radical shift in energy from what we were experiencing and watching to what we got in episode 8. It just doesn't quite add up. The math isn't mathing here.
Yeah, and if that was how the season ended, I think I would have a lot better feeling about the season, Like, if the season ends with him coming out and getting arrested by Argus in that moment after his family just died, and Peacemaker's like down bad. Like, I get that he's down bad right now and that he's not, like, he's stuck in another dimension by himself. That's obviously not a great scenario to be in. I don't know why it felt like him coming out of that dimension after his brother almost got murdered in front of him, his dad got murdered in front of him. Like, that felt like more impactful, and like the weight felt more, just impactful or just serious to me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude. It was a fitting end. It's this dark turn, which they had been hinting at, and when it's finally revealed, it's played for laughs because of how oblivious he was, and the way that all the neighbors start chasing Adebayo, and when she says, "Oh, you didn't notice all the copies of Mein Kampf?" And he goes, "No, you think I got this buff by reading books?" And then she's like, "You didn't notice the Hitler mural?" So all of that stuff, and then getting the confrontation, and even him hearing the speech from his father, realizing that his father wasn't a monster in this world, but also a layered commentary, him still being complicit in the evils of this world because he only does his duty as a superhero, but he doesn't take that next step into, actually confronting the regime, so that he's not a perfect man, but he's much better than the father Peacemaker had. And the music swells up and he's giving that inspiring speech, and then Vigilante comes in and fucking kills him, which it was such a great mixture of comedic but also dramatic. It's this really dark humor. It's such a hilarious thing, and so in character for Vigilante to do that, to go so far, and his explanation being what he had Economos tied up. And and then everything we've talked about, his brother going after them, and Harcourt and Vigilante holding him down and shit. He's all bloodied. It was crazy.
Yeah, I almost feel like they should have split. Like, it feels like they mixed 2 seasons together almost. I wanted more time in the other dimension, but they also had this other villain of Argus and Rick Flag Sr. being there. They divided their time too much, where in the end they kind of didn't know how to make it, because we were all more intrigued by the other dimension, in my opinion, at least. I was definitely way more intrigued by the other dimension, the Nazi one specifically. It almost feels like we didn't spend enough time there this season now, like, where it could have been, like, I don't know what they would have done with it in the finale, but there could have just been something else with it, you know? Where, I don't know, maybe I thought that Rick Flagg's motivations were going to be to get another version of his son and bring him back. Now he seems to be just another Lex Luthor, you know? I don't know. I still believe in Gunn, and I think that he'll make it right. Like, I think that Superman will end up being good if this is where it leads to. Now I'm a little more tempered in my expectations.
Well, you saying 2 seasons in one made me think what they were setting up for Superman really undercuts this season because of the role of Rick Flag Sr., his revenge plot, and the portal technology, bringing in Lex Luthor. It makes sense how this is going to lead into Superman. It's not as clean, I think, as if they would have ended it with episode 7. Him going to jail, Argus has this technology, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Lex Luthor's working with them now. Now they have this super powerful device. That's going to lead into Superman. And yeah, those elements will be present. But now it's just like with episode 8, there were other things Gunn had in mind that he needed to just quickly get down so that the canon makes sense. And it's not doing it for the benefit of the characters or for the storytelling, but for something else. And that is a shame. Maybe that, you know, looking back in hindsight, more time should have just been spent in that alternate reality, because it feels like a lot of these characters who had great roles in season 1 are taking a back seat. So double down on what you're doing. This is clearly what you want to explore, the duality of this character. And bringing in David Denman as his brother, he was great. He was a standout of this season.
Yeah, he was so good as him. I had only really ever seen him in The Office, and he was very good in this. He was very good.
Yeah, you know, his whole demeanor, and then the revelation that in his universe, his brother is an addict and he's a volatile personality, doesn't have his life together. You know, compared to our Chris, he is an absolute mess. So even Augie, it felt like he sensed our Chris was not necessarily a better man, but didn't have all these problems. And, it was very believable, his explanation for what happened. All of that stuff was fascinating, the family dynamics and using the multiple dimensions to, really get into what it means to be a family and how things can go so wrong, but you still love them, you still care about them, they still mean so much to you. And it was, kind of Chris's brother playing the role that Chris played in this universe, where he can, he was always trying to see the good in his father. And in this alternate universe, it's Chris's brother trying to see the good in Chris. So yeah, all that stuff was fantastic. And I think you make a good point that, yeah, maybe that should have just been the real focus without any Argus stuff, with, finding a better way to include these supporting characters, or maybe give them their own stories that all come together in the end. But I don't know. Definitely throughout the season, I think Economos was maybe the best because he was just so funny. But I'm disappointed with the lack of Vigilante, without a doubt.
Yeah, Vigilante just could have been there so much more, I feel like. In the first season, he was a standout for me with just how unhinged he is, and he almost feels like a Deadpool type character where he could do anything at any time. And in this season, obviously in episode 7 we get it, but I feel like we were lacking that energy from Vigilante, which we had throughout the whole show. Question, I'm not sure, but did James Gunn direct season 1 of Peacemaker?
I want to say he directed every single episode of Peacemaker season 1. And season 2, no. Oh no, there were a couple of guest directors, but it's about the same, yeah.
Okay. One thing I will say about the season is that it was a lot more focused on Chris rather than Peacemaker, which I don't mind at all. I feel like it gave him good development as a character. You really get more into, because most of the season he's really not Peacemaker, whereas in season 1 he's always in the suit, always got the helmet on, doing like trying to save the world, trying to save the world from the butterflies and all that. But in this season, I feel like we didn't really get him dressed up as Peacemaker trying to save the world all that much. It was more of a story about him and his family, which I didn't mind. But once you get to the last episode and we don't get any more Peacemaker and it doesn't deliver, it almost makes you think like, damn, I wish we got more of actual Peacemaker shooting guns, killing people all season.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I didn't necessarily miss while I was watching it, but the more it's pointed out to me, the more I think, yeah, no, that was absent in place of more character-driven story, which is totally fine. And I think in season 1, they use it as a way to show how goofy he is and how ridiculous he is. And he believes himself to be a hero because he's wearing the costume, but there's more to it than that. And this season 2 is really getting into the psyche, getting into who he is on a level that goes a bit deeper, which I'm totally fine with, especially because for the most part, his story was pretty much perfect until episode 8. But now, yeah, you compare it to season 1, where some of these, even, the big action moments were cool, but some of the smaller ones, the intimate fights, like when he's in his underwear after that one night stand, that's such a memorable fight from season 1. I feel like we didn't really get a lot of those in season 2. Maybe Flag when he's got him locked up and he's just brutally beating the crap out of him. The hardcore stuff, I thought that she was a better character here in season 2 because there was a lot of focus on her, and similar to Chris. The bar fights got old after a while. Her anger issues got a little stale after a while. And Vigilante doesn't have a standout action moment like he had in season 1 in the jail.
Yeah, exactly. And most of the action moments in this season happen in like those first 2-3 episodes. Like when he is fighting the other Peacemaker, or when they are saving, what was it? It was like a bank, or I forget specifically, but there was a pet store, right. I know for sure. In the other dimension, like those are the only, I might be wrong, but those are the only real big action moments.
Then there's the fight between Judo Master and Peacemaker in the woods. Yeah, it's pretty quick.
There's that. And when Eagly.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The Primal Eagle. Did that ever pay off? I don't remember if that paid off. The Primal Eagle thing?
Yeah, Red Saint Wild. His character was funny. Him being just the worst type of cultural appropriator. When he did that fucking blood ritual, that shit was hysterical. No, yeah, I guess Eagly's just the prime eagle. I love Eagly, man. When he was all depressed in the closet, it made me really sad.
Eagly's a good character, dude. It's funny because he's just an eagle.
Yeah, he really is he's like Paddington, he's your buddy, but he's at the end of the day, he's a fucking eagle. I always think they're going to kill him, man. I'm like, please don't shoot that fucking eagle.
I don't think Eagly can die, bro.
No, he can't.
I think he would just tank a bullet and just like shrug it off.
He would just eat that shit?
Yeah, just like, turns out Eagly's wings are like coated in Kevlar.
He's got the adamantium wings. Did you see James Gunn wanted Deadpool in the season finale?
How would that even work? But that'd be the best thing ever. Imagine just an after credit scene of Deadpool and Vigilante just chilling.
Yo, what's funny is I think Vigilante would hate Deadpool. Because he would like, I don't think Deadpool would think twice about Vigilante, but Vigilante would be like, this guy's annoying.
The same exact character.
Yeah, exactly. That was a funny bit when Vigilante met himself and just fell in love.
Yeah, they what's the thing that he's like, oh, you guys got Cheetos with the OH at the end?
When he learns that it's a Nazi universe, he's like, that's the craziest thing I've learned since the H at the end of Cheerio.
Yeah. Bro is just so calm about it. Vigilante got to treat his mom better too, bro.
See, yeah, that I thought that they were going to make up for the lack of Vigilante with 3 great episodes to end it, because his episode 6 and 7 are both really funny, dude. The bit of him being so mean to his mom was hysterical. He's so loud. He's constantly yelling at her.
Like, Mom, we don't call her that. She's ads or Adebayo. What are you doing? And saying that Harcourt was his girlfriend. She just won't stop talking about it.
Yeah, when she's talking about porn and he's like, stop. Stop. No, episode 6 and 7 for Vigilante were so funny, dude. I don't even know how we got onto this, if I was making a point. But Tim Meadows as Langston Fleury was great too, man. He was out of pocket. He just felt like a mouthpiece for James Gunn to say whatever ridiculous things he wants Tim Meadows to say. Almost like how they wrote Liam Neeson in Naked Gun. It's like, this guy is so naturally funny. What's the most ridiculous thing I could have him say? And they sure had him say a lot of those things. The bird blindness was a fun bit.
Bird blindness. Yeah, him going off on that dude in the finale for exposing him for vomiting on the stripper. And then bro just gets his face eaten off seconds later.
Yeah, what'd you think about the the little Candyland creatures.
I was just like confused, kind of. I was like, I wanted them to go back or try. Like, they're just going to close that door and just let them be? I don't know. I feel like Argus as they're like a plotting, devious company, or military organization that, I don't know. I expected them to try to like go into these dimensions and take over or stuff like that, It just seemed like, I don't know if out of character is the term, but a little unrealistic. I know it's a superhero show. I know it's a sci-fi show, guys. Don't hate on me for saying it's unrealistic, but I think that their motivations would have been a little different, Like realistically, if in the real world right now we got an extra dimensional portal, we're going there and taking over every one of those dimensions. Get as many resources as possible.
No, when you say it's unrealistic, it's just like them doing research on the dimensions, Lex Luthor giving them those reports. It's all too vague, where the promise was so big. It's either give us nothing or give us something concrete, where it very much just kind of plays like something that we need to remember. Remember that all of this was done because it's going to be important down the line, rather than, okay, this is where a larger story is heading, but at least we have something, we could sink our teeth in. I don't know what to make of any of that. It was just, it was silly seeing him get the reports and smiling and high-fiving, and now they're just evil. Like you said with Argus, when did they become, S.H.I.E.L.D. is complicated. S.H.I.E.L.D. can be infiltrated and taken over. That was, Hydra, but this doesn't feel like that. And it's also, we barely know Argus.
Yeah, it's so odd because I feel like our whole knowledge of Argus is just Rick Flag. And like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just all about his revenge plot rather than anything that's... Which is fine. He could be a flawed leader where he gets too obsessed with getting revenge and stopping metahumans that he unleashes something that's Brainiac. But
yeah, that's where I thought it was going. And I don't know. I don't think it's going there anymore, right? Like realistically, who or what is the villain in Man of Tomorrow? Because why would Lex Luthor work with Superman now? If this seems to be the plan that he wanted, unless if Brainiac is on this planet, but then if Brainiac's on this planet, then Peacemaker's cooked, bro. No way bare hands Peacemaker's living on this planet.
I think I don't know. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the idea of Peacemaker and Brainiac sharing a scene is such a funny thought. I love comics.
Yeah, like, I get that you could really do anything, but I don't know. Is the Supergirl movie, not to get too far off topic, but is Supergirl movie a prequel before Superman, during Superman? Do we know anything about that?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it is confirmed where it takes place.
Okay, so maybe we get more stuff in there that connects it all. Because I haven't seen Creature Commandos, so I don't know if I'm missing something here that would make it more like that would make me be like, oh, okay. But yeah, it doesn't seem like that.
No, because everyone's saying Rick Flag and Creature Commandos isn't even the same character. That he was changed so much that it's like there is a missing piece.
Yeah, and it seemed like in Superman that he wasn't like a bad guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, he apologizes to Superman when they arrest him.
Yeah. Like he seemed like a good guy, but I understand like revenge can consume you, but I don't know, man. It just, it like I said, it feels odd. I hate to keep saying that, but it just does. But I don't know. Maybe
it's odd because it's like he almost came to terms with the fact that it wasn't Peacemaker's fault. And then he caught him and he beat him and he got away and then he caught him again and he put him in this alternate dimension. It's so mustache twirly evil.
Yeah.
In a way that gave me whiplash. Him being kidnapped in that episode 8 was like, okay, what is this? And then the fucking Monsters Inc. destroying the door before he can get out. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of all that.
Oh, I wonder if Peacemaker's going to make it out of here.
Yeah. See you next week.
No, it's John Cena, guys. Of course he's going to make it out of here. Like, I don't know. If James Gunn does kill John Cena here, like, props to him. But I feel like there's no real, like, stakes, I guess, in this situation, right? Like, obviously he's going to make it out alive. It's just us now waiting around for, 2 years? Just like, oh, we're on pause while this happens.
Right, yeah. And I could see a universe where Supergirl comes out, Superman comes out, and that's the next time we see some of these characters. And we don't pick up with The Waller Show or Checkmate.
Yeah, is there any other shows that are confirmed or movies right now?
Confirmed Lanterns. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything else is...
And they're not dealing with this shit in there.
No. Well, I mean, maybe, but see, I'm starting to think the whole different dimensions thing is going to be as simple as Brainiac getting wind that they have this device that allows him to not only gobble up our universe's information, but the information of an infinite amount of universes. We'll see. However it is, that's the problem you run into, dude, when you start really hyping your shit about, oh, this is going to be really important, this is going to be a game changer, and then it ends up being a dud. Where, yeah, I imagine we're going to look back and think, okay, yeah, this is how it's connected, but not in a way that's really that exciting.
Yeah, and they don't need to give us all the answers now. Like, if they do connect it in a good way, I'll take everything back that I said. But just right now, knowing that I have to wait however long for this to pay off, it's frustrating. It's just very frustrating. Because I did, like I said, like the season as a whole, and I like Peacemaker as a character and the show. And it's just, it just felt like we were going to get a big pop at the end that just never came.
Well, and it was also the expectations that they built themselves. You can't...
Yeah, James Gunn didn't have to come out and say that this is his favorite episode he's ever done. Like, bro didn't have to gas it up like that.
Yeah, and especially with the Lex Luthor cameo, instantly people are going to start thinking, okay, is Batman showing up? Is Green Arrow showing up? Is arm fall off guy showing up? Everybody starts trying to pick up on the cameos, the foreshadowing, and you set yourself up here. It's a trap that he laid for himself, and unfortunately he fell in it, which is something that James Gunn really hasn't done. It's not to say he has a spotless record, but in terms of what he's directed, I've enjoyed all of it. Some of the stuff he's written outside of the films he's directed hasn't been great, but yeah, this was just and it's weird though, because season 2, I think if you judged it as a full season, is a good, borderline very good season of television, and it feels like we didn't like it based on the finale, but there's no other way to talk about this, in my opinion. I don't know, it was weird.
It's just so weird to talk about. I don't know. I've never felt this way about a show before because, like I said, it might have been that I put my expectations too high. But with how the season was going, it feels like they directed this with only reading a synopsis of the other episodes or something. I don't know.
Yes, like they came in blind, like they weren't. It was a totally different team.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. The rest of the cast and crew got sick because all the meat's gone to shit because of the FDA, but we're bringing in this whole new crew. Can you guys whip something up for us? Like, yeah, sure. The dimensions. Okay, we'll do a couple dimension montages. And Harcourt and Peacemaker, they have some unresolved issues. Okay, we'll clean that up. Big emotional moment between the cast. That's great. Cliffhanger. Cool. Dinosaurs. Why not?
Yeah, dinosaurs. Like, the dinosaurs caught me off guard for sure,
dude. And it's like, I can't say it enough. Episode 7 was a masterpiece.
Yeah, that's why it feels so weird, because that episode for real might have been one of my favorite episodes of television from this year. I'm trying to think of what else could have been there, like probably some Severance episodes, some other stuff. But like,
yeah, no, this is on the level of, I love the Severance finale. A couple, when the pit really gets rolling near the end of the season.
Oh yeah, the pit. But like, it's weird to say, but Peacemaker had me like in the same type of anticipation as those shows.
Dude, 100%. 100%. And looking at the runtime of the finale and seeing it was an hour plus, I was like, okay, here we go. And it was just based on the expectations of how episode 7 ended and the promises, which is, it's just unfortunate. But it's just one of those that I almost want to judge this season by taking episode 8 away.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I want people to believe that I actually really liked this show.
Yeah. And right now it seems like we don't, but I enjoyed episodes 1 through 7. I was very locked in on this show. I loved it, honestly. And it doesn't ruin the whole show for me, obviously, but it just, like I said, leaves a sour taste in my mouth where I was thinking about this show at all times coming into this week. Like I was like making theories in my head. Me and you were talking about theories last week, just talking about the episodes when we were seeing each other. It's like that all just went away.
Bro, I was talking to you last week how I was so excited for episode 7, but I fell asleep and had to watch it the next or I hadn't even watched it.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, you got to watch episode 7. I was like, episode 7's crazy. You got to tap in. And then you texted me after like, holy shit, this is crazy. Can't wait for the finale.
And then episode 8, I managed to stay awake, watched the whole thing, thought, oh, I'm going to be able to watch the Giants after this. Fell asleep after Dart had a nice first down conversion. Shout out to Dart. But yeah, no, I couldn't. I don't know. I walked away, or I guess I didn't walk away. I was on my couch and then I walked to my bed. But from that short walk, I just felt nothing. I was just like, oh, okay.
Show's over, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder where we go from here.
And it's hard to shit on them a lot, but like let's gas them up a little bit. John Cena did amazing this season, I thought.
Yes.
I mean, he's definitely found his footing as an actor, and I would love to see him in more stuff. Ricky Stenicki was the only other thing I've really seen him in besides this. And honestly, you know what the thing is too about the timing of this Peacemaker season, bro, is that it's John Cena's like farewell tour, and it's been getting me hyped. It's been making me watch WWE because of
that's fun.
Peacemaker. Like I've been loving John Cena because of it, and I'm very excited to see his acting career going forward. Everybody really did good in their parts, I think. Like everybody. There's nobody who I can like point out who I was like, oh damn, they're bad actors. They didn't do their job well with what was given to them. All my critiques would be from a writer standpoint, like of they weren't given the opportunity that I thought they should have been given. Like characters like, I don't know, maybe I would have liked to see Adebayo a little bit more, or his brother and his dad in the other dimension a little bit more. But when they were in the show, they did great, all these characters. So shout out to them.
Yeah, it feels like Adebayo's role, she's kind of the friend in this season, less active and more so a shoulder for some of these characters, a way for us to learn more about these characters. We've talked about Vigilante, but I think Jennifer Holland, someone who I wasn't as impressed with as an actor in season 1, she was fine. I think she was better in this season too, and they also gave her better material to work through. At times I thought it was a little bit too on the nose, but in terms of what her having to deal with her feelings for Chris and what that says about her, can she even be in a relationship? She doesn't even feel like a human being at times. She's just a weapon. That's all she knows. It's stuff that we've seen before, but I think she handled that material pretty well, and some of the best scenes were shared between the two of them. Her delivery of course it meant something. It meant the world to me. Was as a guy, even though you're saying, oh, that, I'm not asking you for anything, hearing that feels like you just got given the world, there's a chance.
Dude, him walking back in the room all hyped up, the music starts playing.
Yeah, I felt happy for him there. And I said this before, Economos I thought was maybe the funniest supporting character because just his comments and being in all these ridiculous situations, how easily he'll lie to get out of a sticky situation, just totally sell his friends out when he's like, I've never seen her before. What are these costumes you're wearing?
Dude, he is so funny in this show.
He's really funny.
He's actually hilarious, bro, because he's the biggest sellout, but he's also just like there for his boys at the same time.
And James Gunn is so good at this, like the way the actors he cast as Superman's parents, so convincing that they'd be farmers from Kansas. Stephen Agee is so convincing as someone who hacked into the FBI, got caught, and is now serving a life debt to the U.S. government. Genius hacker, riddled with anxiety. He just looks like someone you would strike up a conversation with at a comic book shop, and but also a nerd that would get mad at people who don't like Miles Morales, Yeah, I love how he didn't like the Eagle Hunter. He knocked the shit out of him in that one episode, dude. He just tossed him on the floor.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, he was good. And Rick Flag was I didn't mind him in the first half of the season, but where that character ends is just we've talked a lot about it. Just strange. But I
Yeah.
think you made a good point that all the actors are very good in these roles.
Yeah. And I do want to see them again soon. I don't know. That's a big problem with the finale for me too, is that I don't know when we will see them again. if we even do some of these characters. I assume we'll see them, but it's not going to be in the same type of roles, I think. Like not in the same they won't be the centers of attention like how they were here if we don't get a Peacemaker season 3.
I think
if we
that's
do,
what's
it might be in 5 years.
Yes, that's potentially what's disappointing is that we're going to see these characters again, but a character like Vigilante, he needs to bounce off of somebody. You can't just have Vigilante show up as a hero to do an action sequence. His value is in the humor in a show like this.
Like we'll never get a Vigilante spin-off show. You need Vigilante with Peacemaker.
Exactly.
Or with at least the rest of the gang.
Yeah, and with the with Checkmate, it felt like, oh, okay, that's the next natural place that they're going to go, and they're still going to stay together. So I do imagine, I think we're going to get a Peacemaker movie. I think that's where we see all these characters again, because Cena's obviously such a big star, and I think the character is well known enough at this point to warrant doing something on the big screen. That's going to be my guess, is the next time we see them all together, it's going to be some sort of Peacemaker subtitle Checkmate.
Yeah. That makes sense. I could already see it now, dude. We're in Superman Man of Tomorrow, and they're in the other dimension. And then out of nowhere, John Cena comes over looking like a caveman with like no shirt on and just like leaves for pants or something.
Yo, that's 100% how they're going to do it. He masters his world.
Yeah, he's like, I've been here for years. Something like that. Some bullshit where it's like he's just like Tarzan now.
I feel like that's like a panel from a recent comic where Superman gets stuck in an alternate reality with dinosaurs. But
Superman would run those dinosaurs, bro. What are they really going to do to him? He just flicks them and the dinosaurs are like across the earth.
No, he stays.
Unless they're robot dinosaurs and Brainiac is running shit. But I don't know. We'll see.
Now I fuck with that. Actually, don't even say that. Don't give Jurassic Park any ideas.
And then they cross over with Transformers.
Oh my God, Michael Bay coming to the DCU? You're about to take James Gunn's job. You know what, James? You focus on directing. Let Cam run this show, okay?
It's the LeBron. We're good.
Yeah,
we got Cam.
Hey, James, we're good.
You could put your head down. We're good. No, to your point though, this did feel like it was building up to bringing the universes together in somewhat like some sort of way, and it never did. Like you would think with the two different universes, this would be how you brought over some characters. I mean, they still can, I guess, in the future, but I don't know. Maybe I'm naive for thinking they would do something like that in Peacemaker and not in like a mainline or mainline movie. But that's what this felt like coming into the season after episodes 1 and 2. That was my initial thought process here.
Yeah. And I'll end it with this thought. I think it's not so much that I wanted it to be that big or Superman shows up, cameos, whatever it is, but it was just, it feels like I've got nothing other than these vague ideas of where it could go, which is fine, but not when you're trying to tell a story in a vacuum, because it needs to be a cliffhanger that feels like there's a next season of television coming. And if there's not, if it's going to be a movie, if it's going to be another movie with another title, with new characters, including some of these, that's totally fine too. But we didn't get any of that. So that's why it's like a nothing burger. And that last emotional gut punch would have been episode 7, which is way better. And I feel like even the mystery of the ending of episode 7 would have been better going into a Superman movie. Like, damn, Argus has this tech now. Wonder what the fuck they're going to do with that. And they're working with Lex. That's ominous. That's not good. Peacemaker's arrested. There's so many things that need to be resolved. But man, what we just got in that other dimension was great. That's like a perfect finale.
Yeah. James Gunn got to go back and just delete this episode. James, if you're listening, lock in. I still have faith, though.
No, I think I have faith.
So yeah, we just shit on Peacemaker for an hour.
Yeah, no, that's fine though, because you know how he's going to make it out to us. He's going to bring Pattinson into the DCU.
That would be different.
That would be fire.
Is that movie? When's that supposed to drop?
Like 3 years,
dude. Come on. That movie, yeah. The Penguin Show. That was gas.
You didn't watch any? You didn't review any Penguin with us?
Nah, I think I was blacklisted.
Yeah, because we had some rumors that you Antifa.
What? Don't put that label on me.
No, I mean these days that's dangerous.
Peacemaker's gonna come out at the All-American halftime show.
Oh my god, dude, that shit is so funny.
He just comes on stage with Kid Rock.
That would be some shit where Peacemaker gets it mixed up, where he thinks he's performing at the real halftime show. All right, yeah, so it may sound like we didn't like Peacemaker Season 2, but we kind of just didn't like the finale. But Season 2, I think overall was good. Maybe not quite as good or cohesive as Season 1, but still fun, still entertaining. John Cena may be our greatest American actor. When they talk about, man, these British actors, they're just better than American actors. Well, here comes John Cena. And they say British commentators are better than American commentators. Here comes Cam Law. So Cam, thank you so much for joining me. As always, what do you got planned for this weekend?
I'm going to Comic-Con tomorrow, dude.
Oh, shit, look at that.
Comic-Con.
Damn, true
Yeah,
fucking
so,
nerd, man. You nerdy motherfucker.
I mean, I guess so. We're on Nerd Tube, right? Hopefully John Cena's there, and I could just, or James Gunn, I could just give them all our talking points, you know? Just tell them how I felt about the season.
You don't even want to meet them. You're like, hey, guys, can I just grab your ear real quick?
Yeah, just for a minute here. But yeah, really excited for Comic-Con. Should be a fun time.
It's been a good Comic-Con. A lot of famous motherfuckers popping up.
Yeah, I know the boy Mark Phillips is there, so I'm trying to see him. You know Mark Phillips?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, really?
So yeah, I'm pretty sure he has a anime he's been writing, and he's there signing stuff. So
oh, that's awesome, dude. I mean, he's a legend.
Yeah, so hopefully we get to see Mark Phillips, and maybe they drop some surprise trailers or something. That'll be fun.
Chalamet did first 30 minutes of Marty Supreme last night.
Oh really?
Yeah, it wasn't a Comic-Con event, but he was close by, 42nd Street. No, I seen a bunch of famous motherfuckers going to New York.
Yeah, I mean, let's go Comic-Con.
Yeah, no, have fun. Make sure you get me like an overpriced statue of Endeavor.
Okay, I'll be on the lookout for some Funkos or something.
Don't forget me.
I've already forgot.
That's fucked up, bro.